Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to today's daily quiz segment with us. And before we begin looking at today's questions, here's an exciting announcement. Now, do gear up and sign up for the 2nd March free workshop with Rohit sir regarding how to prepare for UPSC upcoming prelims exams with just a few days to go. Now, this could be a very good opportunity for you to learn the last minute preparation strategy and all the obstacles that you face in your preparation. So do attend the workshop. And now let me quickly take you to today's questions. The first one on your screen talks about India's cropping seasons. It says, consider the following crops. One is cotton, second is mustard, third is rice, and the fourth is wheat. And which of these are Rabi crops? Now, talking about Rabi crops, let's remember that Rabi crops in India are a name that is given to winter season crops. In India, we observe typically 3 major cropping seasons. One, of course, is Rabi, the other is referred to as the Kharif, and the third is referred to as the Zaid season of crops. Let's remember that it is the Rabi crops that are sown during the winter season and later they are harvested during the spring season, not just in India, but in fact many other regions of the subcontinent, including northwestern provinces, including Pakistan, including Bangladesh. And now let us analyze which of these then are Rabi crops. So here, wheat and mustard are important Rabi crops, whereas the other refer to Kharif crops. So therefore the correct answer is 2 and 4. That is option C. Now let's also remember that apart from mustard and wheat, you have other very crucial Rabi crops in India. For example, gram. We have the rapeseed. We do have barley. Besides, we have bajra that's consumed majorly in the western, typically the northwestern parts of India, the states of Rajasthan, Haryana, Gujarat, as well as oats. And hence, C is the correct answer. Let's see, why did we pick up this question today? And that's due to a publication in the Economic Times, an article that says that Vietnam has started importing husked brown rice from India after a very long time. The reason is that Vietnam later refines this rice. It polishes this rice and then exports it, because today in the world we are witnessing a very high demand of white rice. Since India banned some of its rice exports, the next nation that is bearing most of the responsibility for being a major rice exporter happens to be Vietnam. And hence the question for you. Now let's proceed with the second question of the day. And this talks about military exercises. We say, consider the following statements here. The first statement is Komodo. Now, very often you might have heard the word with reference to a dragon. Well, that's what it symbolizes. Powerful. Komodo or multilateral naval exercises, MNEK Komodo, is an annual military exercise by the Seychelles Navy. Now, this statement is clearly incorrect, because if we follow news regularly, we will be aware that Komodo exercise is annually held by the Indonesian Navy. Generally, it takes place between the Indian Oceans and the Pacific Ocean. Hence, the first statement here is incorrect. Looking at the second statement, it says exercise Chakravat. Exercise Chakravat involves the participation of all 3 services of India's defense forces, including the Army, the Navy, the Indian Air Force, including the paramilitary services, also certain disaster response organizations and NGOs. This is a valid statement. Let's remember, it had started back in 2015 and it is one of those annual. Now let's remember, this is very, very critical. It is an annual, joint, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, which is often abbreviated as HADR exercise. Hence, it is an AJHE endeavor. As I said, it started back in 2015 and it not only sees a participation of Indian Navy, Air Force and the Army, but also it is including certain NGOs, academic institutions. And hence the second statement here is valid, making B as your correct answer. Now with this, let's proceed with why did we even pick up this question for analysis today? So this was due to an article in the Hindu newspaper that says the Milan 2024. Now remember, we have been talking about the Milan 2024 quite often in the last few weeks. So the article says that Milan 2024 is coming to a close now. It is ending with a grand ceremony that's taking place on board INS Vikrant. It has been a very successful enterprise, having seen participation of multiple submarines, navies and ships, aircrafts from various countries of the world. Now let's analyze the third question in front of us. This again is a set of two statements. The first talks about how India's first 99.99% pure green hydrogen plant was commissioned by the Oil India Limited, the OIL, in West Bengal. Half statement is valid, half is incorrect, because this purely green hydrogen plant up to 99% and more efficacy was actually commissioned in Jorhat. So this became the Jorhat pump station that was initiated in 2022 in Assam, not in West Bengal. Hence the first statement is incorrect. Second statement, hydrogen produced from nuclear energy via or through electrolysis is referred to as pink hydrogen. Now you might have heard in the news not only about green hydrogen, but also with reference to pink, purple and red hydrogen, and that's what we are talking about. This statement is correct because pink hydrogen refers to a kind of hydrogen that's often produced once electrolysis is done by using nuclear energy. So second statement is valid. Sometimes also the word is used as purple hydrogen. Now remember, all these are alternatives for future, potentially very efficient, cost effective and zero carbon footprint fuel. And that's why constant research is ongoing in the fields of green hydrogen, green ammonia. You also must be aware about certain characteristics of the National Green Hydrogen Mission for your exams. And on that note, we can say that B will be the correct answer. And the reason why we analyzed this question today is due to an article from the Hindu which said that the Honorable Prime Minister of India is to inaugurate hydrogen fuel cell ferry today. And this is actually being done after being constructed by the Kochi shipping yard. So it will be inaugurated from the Thoothukudi region. Now let's proceed with the fourth question. It says, which of the following tribes is associated with the Andaman and Nicobar Islands? The first is Malmis, the second is Purikpa, third is Apatani and D is Balawa. Now let's remember, these names might confuse you a bit because more often when we talk about Andaman Nicobar, we generally refer to the more common tribes such as the Onjis, the Champins, the Jaravas. Very few times we also talk about tribes that are not in the news on a day-to-day basis, but there are certain tribes from Andaman that we should be aware of because they are very critical to the region. So here the correct answer is D. Indeed, Balawa is a tribe that is native to the Andaman Nicobar Islands. Clearly we can eliminate the others. Why? Because talking about the Malmis, let's remember Malmis are the most important tribes of the Lakshadweep Island region. Let's also remember that these Malmis are often referred to as sailing tribes or sailor tribals because they are very proficient in fishing and sailing. Talking about the Purikpa, let's remember Purikpa are situated in the Ladakh area. Ladakh area, typically the Gilgit, Baltistan area, and the Pak territories of northwestern region. Talking about the Apatani, let's remember the Apatani tribals are actually situated in the Zero Valley. and this in turn being situated in the Arunachal Pradesh. So through elimination also we can say that D here is the correct answer. The reason why we chose this question today is again because of an article that was highlighted in the Hindu which says that Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden and Research Institute is to be set up in its Biorepository form for Andaman flora. So the flora and the unique fauna of Andaman and Nicobar Islands will be replicated in the Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden. It will be a small microcosm of preserving and highlighting the rich environmental biodiversity of Andaman Nicobar region. With this, let's jump to today's PYQ. This is coming to you from 2019 and it says that the service area approach was implemented under the purview of which of the following initiatives? The first is Integrated Rural Development Program. We often abbreviate this as the IRDP. The second one, or the B, is Lead Bank Scheme. C is Manrega, very often referred to as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, where we say that 100 days in 1 year will be allocated as universally government-sponsored assured employment to people who are belonging to the poor segments. Talking about the National Skill Development Mission that talks about improving self-employment opportunities by skilling Indian population. So here the correct answer is B, the Lead Bank Scheme. Let's understand that the Lead Bank Scheme was actually created with an aim. It aimed to create or establish one lead bank in every district of India so that these lead banks could later coordinate with other bank and financial institutions so that an efficient integrated banking infrastructure is available within the nation and also people in every district can have banking access. The main purpose was to reach out with banking services to the unbanked population. Also, let's remember that when we talk about the service area approach, now this was an idea that was created long back, as old as 1989. It came about with the intention to bring proper, coordinated and orderly planned development in India's rural and semi-urban areas. Hence here, the second or the B option is valid. And now let's quickly analyze today's fact. We are talking about the Lokpal and the Lok Ayukt Act. It has been in the news recently, and let's understand that the Lokpal and the Lok Ayukt Act of 2013, which is commonly referred to as the Lokpal Act, this is technically an anti-corruption initiative of the Indian government to make the government more responsible, to make it more answerable to people when it comes to red tapeism, corruption and lack of transparency. And therefore the word Lokpal, let's remember, was initially introduced by a member of the parliament, Lakshmi Mal Singhvi, back in 1963. This happened during a debate that was going on about how to create a proper system of addressing grievances or complaints of public towards lack of governmental efficiency. Now the Lokpal bill was initially introduced in the Lok Sabha back in 1968 itself, but today when we talk about the ongoing Lokpal Act, it was enacted in 2013 and the initial draft was made longer back in 2010. Let's remember that the whole idea is based upon implementation of Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. So Lokpal is responsible for inquiring into corruption charges at the national level, whereas when we talk about the state level, it is the Lok Ayukta that we talk about for addressing public grievances. The bill was passed in the backdrop of Anna Hazare, the anti-corruption social activist of India, when he took up his protest to make government more answerable and to abolish the whole system of corruption in India. That's when the idea was highlighted with much more fervor. And Maharashtra became the first state to introduce the Lok Ayukta. It was done through the Maharashtra Lok Ayukta and Up Lok Ayuktas Act back in 1971. So now with this, I'll take your leave for today's session. I hope it was useful to you. I shall see you very soon with many such interesting sessions in future. Thank you so much.